Hi, welcome. I have a yin sequence today targeting the upper back. So that's the shoulders, the arms, and the wrists. So cautioning in any of these shapes, if there's tingling in your fingers, back off or come out at any time if you need to. We're going to start in extended child's pose, a wide-kneed child's pose. So taking your knees as wide as your mat. Your big toes can touch. And then we'll start to walk the hands forward. If your forehead comes to the mat, gently releasing your forehead there. Or maybe you want to stay a little bit more up on the elbows to support you. But really think about those fingers kind of creeping up towards the top of your mat. So we are targeting, again, reminding you the upper body. So we do want to feel this stress in those arms and the shoulders. Sinking in there. We'll be here for about 2 minutes. Slowly come back up to that tabletop position. Be careful bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, drawing the knees together, and then we'll rise up. Maybe a few rounds of cat-cow breath. We'll take a yang rebound here after that extended child's pose. Inhale, tailbone tip up towards the ceiling. Lift the back of the head to see, lift the chin, and then exhale, begin to tuck your tail between your legs, rounding through the spine. Push the floor away with your hands and drop the chin towards the heart. Last breath here, that's an inhale and an exhale to finish the cycle off in that high cat. And then relax your back in neutral position. This time melting heart, which is a little more intense than the extended child's pose. If you prefer, you can do another round of extended child's pose. From this tabletop position, we're going to keep the hips over the knees. Keep the hips, the seat up nice and high. Walk those hands forward, just like in that extended child's pose, but we're going to keep that seat up where it is. You can drop your head in between the arms, bring the forehead down to the mat. This isn't working for you. Remember, you go back to another round of that wide-kneed child's pose. 2 minutes again. And slowly, carefully, those tissues are vulnerable. Come back up to that tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders. If you were doing that wide knee child's pose, bring those knees back underneath your hips. A little different movement here to flesh out. So pushing your left cheek over towards your left heel, swing around to the right, and return back up. If your upper body's feeling like it needs a little bit of a break, you could probably do this, a smaller movement, but you can come down to your elbows. And changing the direction of those circles. So pushing that right cheek over towards your right heel, really exaggerate that stretch. Last circle here. And return to table, and we'll lower all the way down to the belly. Sphinx pose will be first. Up on your elbows. Make sure your elbows, to start anyways, are underneath your shoulders, and your arms are about shoulder width apart. Maybe reach around, making contact with the elbows. Open those arms back out so your forearms and your palms are on the mat. Again, to start, let's talk about the legs for a second though. Let's pick up the left leg, make it a little longer, place it back down. Pick up the right leg, make that one a little longer, place it back down so your toenails are on the mat or the floor. Legs at least hip width distance apart, maybe a little wider here. Then we're going to slide the elbows just ahead of the shoulders, like a little more sinking the torso, like a hammock into your mat. Palms can touch the floor of your mat, or maybe your palms, you prefer to have them touching each other. You can play with that, feel which feels better for you. You can keep your gaze more neutral, straight ahead, or you might explore bringing your chin towards the heart. And if you are tucking the chin towards the heart, I would say go into that slow and mindfully. You might find that the weight of your head is a little too much stretch. And if you do tuck it, I like to release the head. So just taking your gaze a little bit side to side as you do so. So loosening up the neck. Again, about 2 minutes here in your Sphinx pose. And you push your palms into the floor, take the elbows out to the side, and then stack those hands on top of each other and rest your forehead there. Crocodile pose, a little reprieve here after your Sphinx pose. Come back up, and seal pose will be next, or you can do another round of Sphinx pose. I like this way the sequence goes, where you're building up or not. You choose your progression. If it's not appropriate for you, you always have the other one in your back pocket, the previous shape. If seal pose is all right for you, hands to the front corners of your mat and your fingers point out at that 45-degree angle, and then push up until your arms are straight. Legs again, check in that they are a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. Same rule applies with the head here. Halfway here. And gently coming out of whichever version there you were in, making a pillow with your hands to take a rest one more time. Good, and we're going to come up, tabletop, swing the legs around and meet me on your seat. Whatever is comfortable for your seat, and we're stressing the upper body, so I'm not concerned about your legs as long as it's comfortable for you. That could be sitting in Japanese or Seiza, cross-legged, one leg in front of the other, stretch out your legs, whatever you need to do to get comfortable in your lower extremities here. Eagle arms sequence, we'll go through it a little bit quickly and then hold at the end, I think. Whatever arm that you would like to start with, first we'll start with a deltoid stretch, that's for the shoulder. Draw one arm across and carefully hooking it with the other. Shoulder down, away from your ear. If it's okay for you, you want to get a little neck stretch into it. Neck is part of the upper body, very closely connected to the shoulders. You might look over that shoulder. Taking the gaze over the shoulder, bring it back to center, and simply reach those hands around and give yourself a hug. If your fingers can find the edge of your shoulder blades, the blades there, you give them a little pull. Okay, Shoulders again, watching if they're creeping up towards your ears, we'll pull those down. Good. This is one of my favorite sequences. A lot of people will complain about muscle tension in the upper back between the shoulder blades and the neck area. This is addressing that directly. This is a good sequence for headaches, if you're at a keyboard job, looking at a computer screen, pretty common. Or also, maybe it's just your stress signature. Maybe you hold it in your shoulders. You're going to bring the backs of the arms and the hands to touch, or there might be a gap there, it doesn't matter. But windshield wipe those arms side to side. Loosening up all the little things around the shoulder blades. Doesn't have to look pretty, it is moving. Good. Pause in the center and keep either the single bind where the backs of your hands are touching, or if a double bind is available to you where your palms touch, you can take that shape. Pull the elbows away and a little bit up. Okay, here would be a little bit longer hold. This is our last shape in this sequence. Breathe into that upper back. We create more space back there. Use your breath, stretch from within. Good. Open up your wings. Pinch the shoulder blades together behind you. So opposite feeling that what we've been doing. Good. And then the second side. So drawing the other arm across that first position. Carefully hooking it there. Maybe looking over your shoulder. Shoulder is away from your ear. And gaze back to center, reach those hands around, give yourself a hug again, but the other arm is crossed on top this time, so it might feel different. If your fingers can find those shoulder blades, feel free to give them a little gentle pull. Shoulders away from the ears, good. So we'll bring the backs of the arms and the hands to touch, the windshield wipe side to side. It's a gentle mist, so don't have to go too quickly. Good. Pause center, keep your single bind or a double bind. Pull those elbows away and a bit up. Our last position. Use that breath, breathe into the upper back, feel your breath back there. One more good breath. Good, and open up those wings, spread them nice and wide. Good, our last position, save the best for last, is wrist tingles. Come forward. If it's okay for you to sit with the seat back towards your heels, good to hear. Maybe some of you want to stay up a little bit more off the seat. Palms will come to your mat. Starting with the fingers pointing forward, we're going to explore your range of motion here. So taking 1/4 turn out with both the hands, so your fingers are pointing to the sides of your mat, the long end. Maybe some of you didn't even get that far. Maybe they can't go any further than that. Don't worry about it, stay where you are. If you can go a little bit further, another 1/4 turn, so your fingers are pointing towards your knees. Okay, trying to keep the palm of the hands down here. Not for too long, okay? Breathe into this. I feel this is pretty intense. But in yin yoga, we're mindfully being the careful word here, keyword, we're stressing the connective tissue, so the bones and the joints, the fascia. Sometimes we're a little nervous to stress those, but like, if we are doing it smartly, it's okay and actually necessary, right? So it builds back stronger and better than ever. About halfway here. Good, and maybe bring the seat up off the heels to get a little weight off those wrists. Quarter turn back out, sides of the mat, another quarter turn forward, sit back and gently roll out those wrists. Good. And a few in one direction, a few in the other direction. And that is it. So a short sequence, short practice targeting the upper body. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.